Hello, welcome back to Visionary Fragrances. 10 fragrances in the designer market that everyone should own. I will always own these 10 fragrances. I think they're amazing in their own way, and we're going to go through the pros and why these fragrances are amazing right now. So I'm going to do 10 to 1, but they're going to be in order of least expensive to most expensive, not in terms of my favorite, because I love all of these, so it's hard to say which ones are my favorite, but we're going to go from least expensive to the most expensive, but they are all designer fragrances. Number 10, as you can see, is Bentley for Men Intense. This one can be had for around £25 to £30 for 100 ml, so very good price, and it's a great performance and scent to match. This one I would only recommend if you like very strong, in your face, masculine fragrances. It's not very, it's not soft, and it's not particularly easy to wear. It's very masculine, it's boozy, it's spicy, and it's leathery, and it's a really quality fragrance for the money. The perfumer Natalie Lawson makes a lot of these fragrances that are cheap, but they smell expensive. So I think Bentley for Men Intense is a great one to have in anyone's collection because it smells amazing and it's very good value for money. So that's number 10. Number 9 of a fragrance that everyone should own is AZZARO's The Most Wanted, the original, not the Parfum. The Parfum is a very good fragrance as well, but we're going to go with the Most Wanted original for this video. This is quite a simple fragrance, actually. It's cardamom toffee with amberwood, so it's very warming, it's spicy, and it's a really good fragrance to have for these months and winter conditions we're in now. Really warming fragrance, very comforting, and it's a fragrance that cuts through the cold air. Anything that's kind of got amberwood in, cardamom, it's going to be sexy, spicy, and it's going to last on your skin a long time. This, for me, is one of the best releases of recent times for designer fragrances. Definitely worth the money and a really good pickup. If you're looking for a new winter fragrance for this year, this would be very high on my list. AZZARO, The Most Wanted. Moving on, number 8, a fragrance from Armani. This is Stronger With You Intensely. In my opinion, this is going to be the best in the Stronger With You line because it smells the best and it projects the best as well. It's a very strong fragrance and it is a room filler. It's similar in scent style to the AZZARO that we just looked at. This has toffee, this has amberwood, and it's very spicy. It's warming and comforting, similar to AZZARO, The Most Wanted. But it has that Stronger With You DNA. It smells very similar to the original Stronger With You, but this has an added toffee note. So you're going to have toffee, you're going to have cinnamon, you're going to have vanilla. It's probably sweeter, I would say, than AZZARO, The Most Wanted that we just looked at. That is because this has a vanilla note in the base. So great for winter. And this is a fragrance I would personally wear when going out in the wintertime, when you want to be noticed, because it projects a lot and it is a fragrance that will get you noticed. So there are, I think, 4 fragrances in the original Stronger With You line. I'm not including leather and oud because they're in a different line and hard to buy in Europe. But if you're looking for a Stronger With You fragrance, I would absolutely recommend Intensely. I think it's the best. It's good value for money, and it's a great cold weather fragrance and for going out and socializing. So that is going to be my number 8. Right, we've had some heavy winter fragrances, the last 3. So let's move on to something fresh then. This is a fragrance I will always have in my collection. It's one of my favorite Bleu fragrances, and that is YSL EDP. Now, the reason why I'm choosing this and not any of the other YSL line is because this is the best all round. This is I think it's probably the best smelling fragrance, but it's also the one that lasts longer on my skin. It projects nicely, and it's actually a really pleasant fragrance. It's easy to wear. It's quite youthful, so I wouldn't say that it's a mature fragrance. We are going to get to a mature Bleu fragrance later on in this video. This is more youthful, okay? So this is more maybe someone under the age of 35, I would say, but to be honest, anyone can pull this off. It's really nice and pleasant. It's blue. You have apple in here, you have sage, and you have aromatic fresh notes. But the interesting thing is you've also got tonka bean in the base, which contrasts with the fresh notes and add a nice sweetness. So you do get some depth, and you do get quite a heavy base with this, so it is going to last a long time. And I've had an experience of this where I've sprayed it on a hoodie, and it has lasted about 3 days. I think I wore the hoodie about 3 days later, and it smelled strongly. It smelled as if I just sprayed it on. So projection is really good longevity, and an easy to wear, fresh fragrance that you can wear in the colder weather. So this is number 7. Moving on to number 6 from Givenchy. Givenchy Gentleman EDP. Now, yes, in my opinion, this is the best in the Givenchy Gentleman line. This is a beautiful fragrance, and it's one of those fragrances that I remember when I first bought it. Once you have a lot of fragrances, you don't often remember when you bought the fragrance and if anything stood out. But this really stood out to me when I first bought it, because it's so... it smells so expensive. It's very luxurious. It didn't smell like anything I had smelt before. It just smells really, really good. It smells rich. It smells expensive. And that is because you have this beautiful iris note. So like a lipsticky iris. Think Dior Homme Intense. Similar to that kind of style fragrance. But you also have in here a black vanilla note, which just really balances the iris and makes this a beautiful fragrance. It's sweet. It's formal. And it just smells really good. This for me would be a really good kind of black tie fragrance, or going to a formal event. I think it would smell really good in that situation. It lasts a long time on my skin. It's not a massive projector, but it doesn't just fade away after 2 hours. It's going to be there for a long time, and it will smell amazing. So really good formal fragrance, and one I'll always have in my collection is Givenchy Gentleman EDP. So, moving on, number 5, halfway through, we're going to go with Jean Paul Gaultier. Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Le Parfum is going to be my choice. This is another fragrance that I absolutely love. I love the original Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male, but it can smell a bit dated, and it's a smell that you may have smelt everywhere over the years, because it's one of the most sold fragrances of all time in the men's market. So you don't want to smell maybe something that everyone is going to recognize. So the option is to go for this, because this is a more modern version of Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male. You still have the DNA in here, but you have an added, or not an added cardamom note, because cardamom was also in the original, but this is a stronger cardamom. And you've also got iris, which we just had in Givenchy Gentleman EDP, the iris note. So it adds a bit of formal, it makes it a slightly more formal fragrance, but it just smells really good. It's a easy fragrance to wear. I think any age group could wear this, and you could pretty much wear this on a date. You could wear it to the office. You could wear it going out. It's really versatile, smells good, and projects really nicely as well. It's a compliment-getting fragrance for sure. And if you're looking for a more modern twist of the original Le Male, then Le Male Le Parfum is the way to go, and that is why it's at number 5. Moving on to the last 4, and these are going to be some really amazing fragrances right now. Can you hear what that is? It is Spicebomb Extreme. This is in a lot of people's fragrance lists, and you know, I sometimes hesitate to include this just because it is so widely talked about. But it is a beautiful fragrance. Of course, it's spicy, but it's sweet. You've got tobacco, and it just smells. If you have not collected that many fragrances, if you've maybe got 10 fragrances and you buy this, it will not smell like anything you've smelt before. It's a spice explosion. It's sexy, it's tobacco, it smells like Christmas, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful to wear this time of year. If you wear it in December, you're going to be filled with kind of the Christmas spirit. You're going to be filled with fun moments. It's a really fun fragrance to wear, especially when you're hanging out with a family, you're going out with friends. That is when I like to wear this, because it just makes you feel really good. It's spices, it's pepper, it's tobacco, and it's vanilla. Really good contrast of notes. It's heavy, and it lasts a long time on my skin. Good for date nights as well, I think, but if you go easy on the trigger, because it's got vanilla, it's really warming, it's sensual, and it might kind of make you smell very comfortable and comforting. So I think this is a really good fragrance to wear, and for me, it's the best Spicebomb. I have heard people complain about the performance recently. I haven't had that problem as such, but I haven't tried the old Spicebomb, you know, from 2017 or so. I haven't tried any older batches, only recent batches, but it performs fairly good for the price. So Spicebomb Extreme in at number 4. Okay, so number 3 then, going to go with a Sauvage, Dior Sauvage Elixir. This for me is almost a niche quality fragrance. It smells incredible in my opinion, and if you're looking for a compliment getting fragrance, I think this is probably one of the best compliment getting fragrances on the market at the moment. Now, the original Sauvage DNA is very hard to find in this. If you search for it, you will find it, but it's not a fresh fragrance as such as the original was. This is much more spicy, it's sexy, and it's lavender, okay? So it's a spicy, sexy lavender. So think cardamom, lavender, and you've got some kind of fresh notes in the middle, but they're hard to find. But it's mainly a kind of a warming, a spicy fragrance, and not very fresh. And I'll tell you what, I wore this when I was on holiday in Portugal last year in the heat, and it didn't work. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend wearing this in the heat. The reason why I wore it because I bought it at the airport, and I thought, oh, I can see how it works in the summer. It doesn't work for me. So this is a winter or autumn fragrance, but it's really sexy. It's high quality, and it is a high price as well. It comes with a big price tag, but it's an amazing fragrance, and for me, it's a must-have in any collection. So number 3, Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now, we are going to go for number 2. We're going to go with a Bleu de Chanel. So I really had to battle hard to think about which one to include because it was between 2. In the end, I went with the Parfum, okay? I was going to include the EDP because it possibly is the best all-round, but I absolutely love the Parfum. It just smells so rich, creamy, it's dense, it's complex, and it's an amazing smelling fragrance. I remember the first time I tried this, I actually bought, I think I bought the Bleu de Chanel EDP. Or no, sorry, I bought a completely different fragrance, nothing to do with Bleu de Chanel. But I got a sample of this free with that purchase. And as soon as I smelled it, I knew I had to buy it because I kept going back to smell my arm where I'd sprayed it. And that is a really good indication that the fragrance is for you and that you love the fragrance. So yes, Bleu de Chanel is kind of got a fresh DNA. It's not an ultra fresh fragrance by any means, but it's got the original Bleu de Chanel DNA in there, right? So it is a fresh fragrance originally, but it's more woody, it's creamy, it's got a lot of depth to this. I think of deep ocean, right? And Bleu de Chanel, the original, is at the top, you know, it's the fresh water, but this goes deep, this dives deep into the ocean, it's dark, and it's really sophisticated, it smells expensive, and it's a more mature smelling fresh fragrance, okay? So when we mentioned earlier, we looked at YSL EDP, perhaps more on the youthful side. This is a lot more mature. You're going to smell well put together, you're going to smell classy, and you're going to smell very expensive. So number 2, Bleu de Chanel Parfum. So moving on to my number 1 designer fragrance that I think everyone should have in their collection is a leather fragrance. It's by Tom Ford, and that is Ombre Leather. For me, no one does leather fragrances like Tom Ford. They're the best designer leather fragrances anyway. And I think the price for Ombre Leather versus the quality versus the performance is excellent. So I think you can buy this for around £120. Of course, it's not cheap, but the quality is unbelievable. It's almost up there with Tuscan Leather. So you think Tuscan Leather is about probably double the price of this. You're getting a very similar fragrance. It's sexy, it's spicy, it's leathery, of course. So you're going to have cardamom in the opening. You've got leather, you've got white flowers in the middle, and it just smells really expensive. I would imagine someone who is kind of an alpha male, or someone who wants to be noticed, someone strong, someone confident, would wear something like this because it just projects this aura of sophistication. It makes you just smell like you have your life together, and it just smells unbelievable. It doesn't smell cheap in any way. It smells sexy, it smells expensive, and it's a beautiful leather fragrance. Performance is amazing, and it will certainly get you noticed. So my number 1 fragrance for men in the designer market is going to be Ombre Leather by Tom Ford. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. Really keen to know which of these top 10 would you feature in your top 10. And if I missed anything out, of course, there's loads of amazing fragrances out there. What did I miss? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.